All right, let's dive right into this explainer. I want you to picture this. You're standing in a massive, cheering crowd right in the middle of the city. It's New Year's Eve, the countdown is hitting 0, the fireworks are literally ready to burst, and suddenly, an angel descends from the sky. But she is definitely not here to bring peace. Instead, she announces the start of a brutal, interdimensional survival game where half of the 1.8 billion players on Earth will be slaughtered. It's an absolutely terrifying hook, right? But you know what's truly fascinating? There is exactly one person in that massive crowd who isn't panicking at all.
And his inner monologue reveals a seriously chilling truth. I'm back again. Round 1, Day 1. So the absolute most crucial point to understand here is that our protagonist Ryu Min is not experiencing this nightmare for the first time. In fact, he has already lived through and failed this exact death game 99 times. Every single loop, he fought, he survived for a while, but ultimately he failed. And now, he is right back at Day 1 for his 100th and absolutely final regression. There are 0 do-overs left.
The sheer weight of that experience is just staggering. I mean, think about it. Back in his first regression, he was completely paralyzed by shock and fear, just like everyone else. By loop 12, he had transformed into this hardened survivor known as Black Scythe. But even with all of that growth, loop 99 still ended in ultimate failure. So the stakes for this 100th regression are astronomically high. We're talking 1.8 billion players, 20 grueling rounds, and this is Ryu's absolute last chance to survive and save the only family he has left. He literally needs a perfect run.
Section 1. First to kill an angel.
So, to achieve that perfect run, Ryu knows he has to rewrite the script right out of the gate. The angel's very first mission is terrifying. Slay 100 goblins just to survive. Now, while modern humans are freezing up in total shock, Ryu steps right up to the plate. 100. That is exactly how many goblins Ryu rapidly and honestly ruthlessly massacres. He doesn't just survive the round. He puts on this jaw-dropping, cinematic show of martial prowess, effortlessly cutting through the goblin horde to secure first place across all regions. But here's the mastermind part. He isn't just grinding for XP. He's intentionally putting on a massive spectacle just to catch the attention of the arrogant angel overseeing their zone. And it works like an absolute charm. She actually calls him aside for a private chat.
Now the angel totally thinks she's in control here, right? She's secretly planning to eliminate this arrogant human with a hidden blade. But Ryu knows exactly what she's hiding. So he beats her to the punch, literally. He clocks the angel, vanishes behind her, and in this completely crazy sequence, violently tears her wings right off her back so she has no way to escape. As he drives a blade directly into her heart, he actually mocks her, saying, "Wouldn't it be unfair if you came at me barehanded?" I mean, come on, he doesn't just beat the round, he completely shatters the game's rules.
Because, yeah, killing an angel on Day 1 is absolutely not supposed to happen, and the system rewards for pulling it off are massive. Earning the first Angel Slayer title literally doubles his stats against sacred enemies. On top of that, the Slaughter Rune rapidly inflates his base stats, but the undisputed crown jewel of this loot haul is the Angel's Blood. This incredibly rare consumable is the secret key required to unlock the utterly game-breaking Reaper class a bit later on.
Section 2. Real-world consequences.
Now, we need to talk about what happens outside the game, because this survival nightmare doesn't just stay in the alternate dimension. When players wake up back on Earth, all their brutal stats and weapons carry right over into modern society. But before we watch Ryu conquer this collapsing real world, we really have to understand his core motivation. His younger brother is his entire world. In a previous loop, while Ryu was distracted, local thugs bullied and permanently blinded his brother. The guilt and raw rage from that specific failure fuel his current, unyielding ruthlessness. Ryu's main goal isn't just surviving. It's about building an absolutely impenetrable fortress to protect his vulnerable brother from the incoming apocalypse.
And hey, to build an impenetrable fortress, you're going to need practically infinite capital. So that number 100 comes into play once again. Ryu uses his 100th loop foresight to execute a totally flawless financial strike. He casually walks into a convenience store and buys 100 identical lottery tickets using the exact winning numbers he's memorized from his past lives.
It's a real-world strategy that is just perfectly executed. Those 100 tickets net him a colossal 22 billion won jackpot. And he doesn't waste a second. He instantly uses that cash to rent a massive, highly secure 44th floor penthouse. This is actually an essential protection measure, because players are highly vulnerable to real-world assassinations when they sleep and enter the game. Then he just casually dumps the rest of his billions straight into Bitcoin, knowing the exact moment it's going to spike by 500%. He is securing infinite wealth and absolute safety before the rest of humanity even grasps what's happening to the world.
Section 3, Round 2, The Reaper Awakens.
Back inside the game for Round 2, the players are given 3 hours to vote for a group representative. Ryu, being the mastermind he is, entirely ignores the high school voting politics to focus entirely on leveling up. Now, normal classes in this game give your standard run-of-the-mill stat boosts. But unique classes? Only one single player in the entire game can hold them. Because Ryu managed to secure that Angel's Blood in Round 1, he meets the totally impossible criteria and officially awakens as the Reaper. He gets massive stat advantages, a totally sick soulbound scythe, and the Death Insignia skill that literally lets him deal double damage. At this point, he is completely unmatched.
And we get to see exactly how unmatched he is when a group of armed thugs tries to kidnap an actress named Seo Aaron out in the forest. Ryu steps in, and guys, it is a complete bloodbath. He brutally slices through the thugs with his Reaper scythe, coldly dropping the line, "You know hiding is pointless, right?" No exceptions. This rapid-fire sequence totally cements his ruthless reputation. He doesn't just defeat his enemies, he leaves them maimed and utterly terrified to ever even think about crossing him again.
Meanwhile, back at the voting area, the primary mission wraps up. A violent gangster ends up winning the election and receives this perk called Command Authority. The gangster immediately tries to use it to force Ryu to his knees, but there is an incredibly satisfying twist here. Command Authority forces a player to obey one order, sure, but anyone holding a class is entirely immune to it, so the gangster realizes in pure horror that his ultimate trump card power is completely useless against the Reaper.
Section 4, Building an Unstoppable Alliance.
Having thoroughly dominated Round 2, Ryu knows he can't clear the crazy final boss rooms later in the game all by himself. He needs top-tier allies, like the right-hand man of this corporate titan known as the Heavenly Demon. But how exactly do you convince billionaires and elite players to follow some teenager? Well, he uses what we can call the prophet strategy. See, Ryu can't just reveal he's a time traveler, because doing that made his brother a massive target in past loops. Instead, he points to his unexplainable lottery wins and his perfectly timed crypto investments, and just claims he possesses an ultra-rare future sight rune. He completely convinces the Heavenly Demon that he is a literal prophet, strategically making himself an invaluable asset that these powerful factions will want to protect rather than attack. So this really perfectly summarizes the Mastermind's chronological journey so far. Step 1. Dominate the games to hoard exclusive lit RPG power. Step 2. Accumulate massive real-world wealth and secure a base. Step 3. Use that overwhelming power and his perceived prophecy to subjugate or ally with top-tier players right before global society totally collapses. It is just a flawless execution of his future knowledge.
Section 5. Reaching the Expert Rank. Let's fast forward a bit to a chaotic relic defense round. Ryu encounters the Mercenary King, who is right on the verge of being completely wiped out by a terrifying superior orc boss. But of course, Ryu is ready. While all the other players are struggling somewhere in the low teens, Ryu's relentless solo grinding has already pushed him all the way to level 40. He officially hits the expert rank. This is a huge milestone that vastly increases his range, his damage multipliers, and critically unlocks the Reaper's exclusive ranged attack, the Moonlight Slash.
And oh man, he puts that new power on full display. As the massive superior orc boss winds up for a devastating strike, Ryu just effortlessly sidesteps it, taunting the monster. What's the point of huge damage if every hit can be dodged? Then, in this deeply cinematic, adrenaline-pumping moment, Ryu casually swings his scythe and literally one-shots the gigantic boss, severing its head in a single, perfectly clean strike. The Mercenary King and his entire team are just left standing there in absolute awe of the Black Reaper's godlike strength.
Section 6. The Prophet's Next Move. So, with the Mercenary King now deeply indebted to him, Ryu's perfect script is playing out absolutely flawlessly. He's back in his penthouse, finally enjoying a rare moment of calm, when suddenly his phone rings. It's an international call from Daniel the Blacksmith, a crucial foreign player whose survival Ryu had anonymously ensured earlier. Daniel calls to thank Ryu, but then he just casually mentions that he has booked a flight and is currently traveling to Korea to meet him in person.
And Ryu completely freezes. A chilling realization hits him out of nowhere. This never happened in my past timelines. Now, we really have to understand the gravity of this moment. For 99 regressions, Ryu has memorized every single butterfly effect. He is the ultimate mastermind who knows everything that will happen.
But right here, we get hit with a massive cliffhanger. For the very first time in 100 regressions, Ryu's perfect foresight has failed. A variable has officially changed.
Which leaves us with an incredibly provocative question. When the mastermind script finally breaks, how exactly will the Reaper adapt to a genuinely unknown future? Can Ryu Min still protect his brother and totally dominate the death games when he can no longer perfectly predict what happens next? It is a thrilling shift in the dynamic, and trust me, you are not going to want to miss how he handles this genuine unpredictability in our next explainer.
See you then.